Afternoon, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School, and I'm back down here at the outdoor classroom here at the Pathfinder School in Jackson, Ohio. And I'm getting ready for squirrel camp, starting to put some things together after that video yesterday. More and more things going up toward camp, things of that nature to get ready for the weekend. And one of the things that I was putting in my kit was a bandana. I noticed that this bandana was actually block printed, or at least it looks to be block printed. I'm sure it was made overseas. And it got me to thinking that that would make a very cool video on how to block print a bandana. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do exactly that. We're going to take a piece of wood, we're going to cut a geometric pattern in it, and we're going to make a block printer that we can put ink on and stamp that onto a bandana. And I will tell you that block printing goes back to the 7th century AD, and up until the 19th century was the most common way of printing everything from text to illustrations and pictures, was with wooden block printing on fabric against a soft giving material that would allow that stamp to penetrate the fabric with the ink. And I'm going to show you how to do that bushcrafty style today, except we're going to use some store-bought ink, but you could make your ink off the landscape as well if you chose to do so. But this is a great project for kids, a great project for scouts, trailsmen, all of the above, to learn carving, to learn something that they can personalize their gear with, and to recreate something off the landscape that is very historical in nature. Stay with me, we'll get started. All right, so we've picked up a shard of tulip poplar off the ground here from something split off in a class laying out here. I wanted something that had a fairly flat surface on it. I'll have to hew this down a little bit and carve it down to a flat surface, and we're going to use this to make a wood stamp to do block stamping on a cotton bandana. All right, so I want that surface to be nice and level, and that's what I'm looking for, just to make sure I take off any high spots. And now we've got something we can carve into to make our stamp. Okay, so not trying to get real fancy, just a quick geometric pattern I drew on here. And now we're going to take a chisel and we're going to make this a relief carving so that we can then stamp it on the edge of a bandana. Very simple project that a kid can do. We're going to walk through the rest of this now, but getting something flat like a block of wood and then getting an initial pattern on here that you want to use, that's the first step. All right, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking these circles. This carving jack tool is very good for little carving stuff like this because it has several different tools on them, one of them being this round gouge. And I can just set it down in there and cut a circle just like this. And so what happens with this now is you're making a relief carving, so there won't be any ink on this dot because the dot is hollow. So if we're going to have the dot hollow, we're going to want the triangle itself to be there to show the dot. So the next thing we need to do is we need to cut this out so that the triangle is there, okay? And we can do that just like this, a little at a time, or we can use a different tool. And all these tools lock, I really like that. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go to a tool that has an angle on it like this, and we're going to cut this in like this, okay? And again, you don't have to get real excited about this, okay? So don't get in a hurry. Be safe with it. So when you get this part done, what you're going to have is you're going to have 4 diamonds here that have a dot in the middle. The diamond's going to get ink on it. The relief won't. So you'll have 4 diamonds and dots, and then we'll have to carve around the rest of this to give ourselves a pattern that we can stamp onto a bandana. Get everything cut in there where you want to, okay? Take your time. It's not a hurry up type project. This is going to take you a little bit of doing. But you'll be able to use a stamp forever if you like it. Play with it. You could do all kinds of stuff. You could make animals, you could make fish, you could make birds, you can make all kinds of stuff doing this. We just chose an easy geometric pattern today to kind of demonstrate how it works and print it on a bandana. Now, if it doesn't come out perfectly the way you wanted it, don't worry so much about that, because imperfection is really the key to the whole thing, because you made it by hand and drew it by hand and everything was done by hand. And so if you get some, things in that aren't perfect, don't worry about that. Just roll with it, okay? And there we go. And then we could just continue down the bandana with that pattern. Just like that. So that's kind of what you got when you're done, depending on how careful you are with your printing. But again, I don't want it perfect. I like the fact that it looks handmade. I like the fact that it looks kind of tribal. That's a cool looking bandana. If I go all the way around the border of this bandana with that, that would be a pretty cool, unique look. All right, guys, that was just a quick video on how to do block printing. I've done a video in the past on how to make ink out of pokeberries. You could do the same thing. You could make your ink off the landscape if you wanted to. But it's a very good project for kids to learn to carve. It's something that they can produce something off the landscape in a wooden stamp and then use that wooden stamp over and over and over again to personalize items that they have. Bandanas are just a great starting point for that. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for family, and for business, all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And I'll be back to another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.